Fox Sports.
We are Black Horse. We are Ohio.
It is an absolutely spectacular weather day in downtown Cincinnati. We welcome you to Great American Ballpark, the home of the Reds, trying to cap off their season-opening 6-game homestand with an unblemished record. It's a series finale against the Milwaukee Brewers. And back with the mayor, Sean Casey. I'm Tom Brenneman. Great to have you with us for Reds baseball. You think about 6-0. The Reds have not started that way, Sean, since 1990. We know they won the World Series that year. And you look inside some of the numbers, and they are very similar, not just the win-loss record.
You can't help but to take a look and to see what history, how history might repeat itself. But 5-0 is impressive. Obviously, look, they went wire to wire in 1990. It's 2011 now. They got a pretty similar team. They're solid in every facet of the game. It'd be nice to see them go wire to wire again here, Tommy.
And you would be a perfect 3-0 here in the booth.
Oh, which would be awesome. You'd be 6-0.
Well, what a homestand it's been, going all the way back to opening day, the drama and the win over Milwaukee, and now looking for back-to-back sweeps over Houston. Ohio brought to you by State Farm. State Farm agents are there when you need them. Find an agent or get a quote at statefarm.com. Buy your local Ford dealer. Ford, drive one. By Cincinnati USA, come for the Red Stay for the fun. Book your trip at CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline, whenever you're feeling good and hungry, it's Skyline time. Well, it's nearly game time at Great American Ballpark on this bright, sunny Thursday afternoon. A good crowd on hand for this 12:35 start. Reds trying to make it a 6-0 record to begin the year. We take a look at Brad Mills' starting lineup for the Astros. Jason Bourgeois gets a start in center field on Hel Sanchez at short. Hunter Pence again in right. Cliff Lee, the cleanup hitter, in left field. Brett Wallace at first. Chris Johnson at third. Bill Hall slides down to the 7 hole at second. Humberto Quintero catching. Their ace, Brett Myers. And on the mound for the Reds, he's pitched in one game out of the bullpen. It's his first start of this season, is right-hander Sam LeCure. LeCure pitched quite well for the Reds last year. When he first came up, he was in the starting rotation. In fact, he got his first major league win in his major league debut against this Houston team. The Reds scored 15 runs for him. And then once he went back down to the minor leagues, when the rotation got healthy, he pitched beautifully out of the Reds bullpen over the final month of the year. LeCure in the rotation, of course, due to injuries to Homer Bailey and Johnny Cueto. But a pretty safe bet that he would have made the team out of spring training, pitching out of the bullpen. So here we go today. Bourgeois looks at ball one, and this one underway. Bourgeois getting to start in center field in place of Michael Bourne. He has one hit in his first 3 at-bats this season. And there's strike.
Yeah, Tommy, we were talking about it earlier. You look in the media guide here when it talks about in 4 straight starts from June 2nd to the 19th. He opposed Carpenter, Matt Cain, Zach Greinke, and Felix Hernandez. Welcome to the show, huh?
And there's a base hit in the left field by Bourgeois to begin the game. Let's take a look at the Reds on defense. A couple of changes from the group we have seen by and large through the first 5 games. The outfield goes Gomes, Heisey, and Bruce. Actually, Stubbs is in center field for today's game. Juan Francisco and Edgar Renteria on the left side. Brandon Phillips and Joey Votto on the right. LeCure and Ryan Hannigan behind the plate. Sanchez swinging a good bat to begin the year. 6 hits and 18 at bats, has 3 runs batted in. He had a rough night last night, however, in the field. Seemingly on every ball hit his way, it was a tough night.
He had a tough night. If he made that first error, then it just seems when that happens as a player out there, the ball seems to find him. There was a lot of balls that seemed to find him last night. Really extended a lot of innings for the Reds last night and led to a lot of runs.
Edinson Volquez, of course, if you weren't with us last night, allowed 4 runs in the first inning. Edinson did not allow a run, nor did the bullpen behind him of Logan Ondrusek, Aroldis Chapman, Bill Bray, and Francisco Cordero in a 12-4 rout. Runner goes, swing and a miss, throw to second, and it's not in time. Bourgeois, perfect 2 for 2 in stolen base attempts. They have a lot of speed, whether it's Bourne or Bourgeois, in that leadoff spot.
You can really flip-flop him, but Bourgeois gets a humongous jump right here. I mean, really was off and running before Sam even delivered that pitch, so that base was stolen right out the gates.
LeCure, 26 years old, grew up in Jefferson City, Missouri. Grew up on a farm. The 8th child born in the LeCure family, has 5 older brothers, 2 older sisters. And this punt will advance the runner on to third base, 1 out.
He was probably in a couple wrestling matches out there in Missouri with 5 older brothers.
I would think you're right.
You know, he was no doubt the guinea pig too.
That'll make it tough.
That'll make it tough, exactly. Yeah, he's the one that made the big leagues because those guys are slapping around his whole life.
LeCure went on to pitch collegiately at the University of Texas, and the Reds drafted him in 2005. What a banner draft that turned out to be for the Reds. They took LeCure that year in the 4th round. Here's Hunter Pence. 6 hits in his first 20 at-bats with a home run and 1 run batted in. Runner at third and 1 out here in the opening inning, and that's strike 1.
We talked about it yesterday, Tommy, about Scotty Roland getting a day off today, you know, day game after a night game. But Dusty Baker has the luxury of putting Juan Francisco in there and not missing a beat. This guy needs at bats. He's shown he's got a big bat. Give him a chance to get in there every once in a while, get a start at third base. So it's kind of a great situation with him and Scotty Roland over there, with Roland, having to get some days off here and there.
Well, it gives you an idea, and we were talking before the game, just how far this franchise has come in a short amount of time. When you're given two of your regulars off on the left side of the infield and you're plugging in Francisco and the reigning World Series most valuable player in Renteria.
Right.
Well, you've come a long way.
You've been doing your homework, and you've been scouting well and getting guys with depth.
Renteria will get to it, had trouble getting it out of the glove, and just in time to get Pence. But it brings in Bourgeois and a 1-0 Houston lead.
Pence did his job right there. Sometimes in that situation, guys try to get a hit or try to do too much. Really, all you got to do is put the ball on the ground, and you end up getting yourself an RBI.
So a single, a stolen base, a sacrifice, and a ground ball gives Houston the early 1-0 advantage. 2 away, bases empty, and here's Carlos Lee. Strike one. Only 2 unbeatens remain in Major League Baseball. The Reds at 5-0. The Texas Rangers are defending American League champions. One better than that.
They've made a statement here on the first week, the Rangers.
You're not kidding. Reds saw them in spring training a couple of times out in Arizona. You didn't even have to wait for the game to start to know what kind of club they potentially could have from an offensive standpoint. I think most people feel like the jury is still out a little bit about their starting pitching.
Yeah. I think their starting pitching, obviously, they're close to the same starting pitching they had last year. Obviously, Cliff Lee, they got towards the stretch drive, but that back into the pen, they got Feliz back there in the closer role. But that lineup is as impressive as it comes in the big leagues. I mean,
no
top
doubt.
to bottom, those guys can all do damage and all hurt you.
3-2 to Carlos Lee. Threw him a fastball, and it's a weak grounder to Renteria, and that'll take care of things into Houston first, but a scoring inning for Houston. Reds coming up, trailing 1-0. Phillips at second, Joey Votto at first. Johnny Gomes back in the lineup in left field batting cleanup. Jay Bruce and right, Edgar Renteria at short, with a latter third of Juan Francisco, Ryan Hannigan, and Sam LeCure. And the ace of this Houston club is right-hander Brett Myers. Been around, Sean. You faced him. Been around for a long time.
Got great stuff. I mean, Brett Myers got great stuff. Good action in the zone. Bulldog type of pitcher. Really a good old country boy, but this guy can pitch, man. He had a great year last year, and this Astros rotation was really the mainstay there, the guy that you count on every fifth day. So the Reds will have their work cut out for him today, no doubt about it. Finally facing that frontline starter.
Drew Stubbs' first pitch swinging lifts a fly ball down the left field line, and it's out of play. Nice play down there by a fan. Very nice. Brought his glove and made a big league play.
That's awesome. See, what he was doing before he got here, he looked in the car. He almost left his glove in the car, but he decided to grab it, thinking he might make a play like that. Bam, it worked out for him. Nice play.
And he doesn't need any stinking sunglasses. What a start for Stubbs. 8 for 21, a home run, 4 batted in, a double, a triple, a couple of stolen bases. Of course, you can say that pretty much up and down this entire Reds team offensively. They've outscored the opposition through the first 5 games, 43-17. That's doing it. And excuse me, roller foul.
One thing about this lineup, you look at the guys in the middle, you got your Vottos and your Rolands and your Bruces and the big hitters. These two guys right here at the top, Stubbs and Phillips, these guys are legit 5-tool guys. We were saying yesterday, these guys can hurt you with their speed. They can, like Stubbs, almost hitting balls to the shortstop, almost beating out the first base. Brandon Phillips getting on yesterday, stealing bases. These guys are the guys that wreak havoc, that get on base and score the runs.
3-2 to Stubbs, and this is something we've seen a lot more of from this Reds team early through the first week of the season. A lot of patience at the plate and making starting pitchers work, and more times than not, outside of Giovanni Gallardo, knocking them out early.
Yep.
Chased a pitch down and away from Myers there, did Stubbs, and an easy ball for Hunter Pence. Let's take a look at the Astros on defense, presented by Ford. We talked about Bourgeois in center. It's still Lee and Pence in the corner outfield spots. Same infield we've seen the entire series, and a battery of Myers and Humberto Quintero. What a night last night for Brandon Phillips. I'm not sure a player can play a better game than Phillips did last night. Spectacular in the field, running the bases, on base 4 times in the game, had 3 hits and scored 3 runs.
Just did everything. It really flashed what kind of player he could be, and almost taking over a game. But a couple huge plays defensively, drove the baseball to right field, right center, first to third a couple times. Had that one play on third base where he went first right on contact, just scored. I mean, he makes things happen out there, and he showed it last night.
On the ground is Sanchez, and quickly 2 away. Now Myers today is making his 2nd start of the year, and boy was his first one a dandy against the team that he spent 11 years in their organization. The Philadelphia Phillies went toe-to-toe with Roy Halladay on opening day last week and really outpitched Halladay.
Well, they had that game won, and Brett Myers did his part, came out and matched Doc Halladay, pitch for pitch, and the bullpen at the end of the game just wasn't able to hold on.
Myers only allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 was earned in 7 innings. He did not strike out a single batter in 7 innings.
That's what I was saying before, Tommy. He's got that good late action in the zone. Gets guys to put the ball in play, but weakly, you'll see a lot of ground balls from the hitters and some pop-ups.
That one to the shortstop Sanchez, and Myers mows him down in order. End of 1 in Cincinnati. Houston a 1-0 lead. Sean. Most felt like it was the best defensive club going into this season in the entire league, and through 5 games, man, they have proved it.
Wow, they've been impressive. I mean, I think a big thing about the defense is you got to pitch it, you got to catch it. These guys catch it. They catch it. You got Roland and Giannis over there. You got Phillips and Votto. Obviously, you got your Stubbs and Bruce and those guys out in the outfield, but these guys go get the baseball. They make the plays. They make the routine plays. They make the spectacular plays, and they help out that pitching. There's the difference. 4 errors by the Astros last night. They've had 1 all season, the Reds. That's a pretty big comparison right there. You give, in the big leagues, you give teams extra outs during innings, and you're usually going to pay for it.
Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Well, here we go in the second inning. Houston in front 1-0. It'll be Brett Wallace, Chris Johnson, and Bill Hall against Sam LeCure. Sam allowed a leadoff single to Jason Bourgeois, who stole a base. A sacrifice sent him to third, and a ground out scored him. 3-0. And a 4-pitch walk to start the inning. Sam, one of 10 Reds who made their major league debut last season. Most of the year he was down at Louisville. Spent a little bit of time on the disabled list with a strained groin. Spent a month with the Reds through the end of May up until the final week of June. Pitched in 6 games, all as a starter. And we talked about those guys he was locked up against. He only got 1 win against 4 losses, but pitched pretty well. Very well, in fact, in 4 of the 6. And then made those 9 relief appearances where the ERA was under 3.5 during the month of September.
Well, I think a big thing is, when you get an opportunity to come up here and impress, and you do like Sam did last year. Well, now Dusty Baker says, okay, we need a starter. We need a guy that maybe could pitch out of the bullpen. Hey, go get LeCure. He did it for us last year. He can come up here and do the job. And as a young kid coming up, that's what you want to do, impress the manager when you get a chance.
Bill Hall, 2 hits and 19 at bats, has an RBI. A long night for Bill Hall last night. Struck out his first 3 times. His final at bat was against Aroldis Chapman. He fell behind a couple of strikes and wound up with a base hit.
We thought he was doomed for the golden sombrero. Next thing you know, he gets a hit on a 102-mile-an-hour fastball.
Go figure, right?
Yeah.
2-0 to Hall, and out comes Ryan Hanigan.
That's where Hanigan goes out and just says, hey, relax, settle down a little bit. Let's take a quick break here and get back to just, doing what you were doing earlier. Pump that outside corner strikes, and let's get back in the groove here.
Wallace held on by Votto over there at first. A very short lead. It's 2-0 on Bill Hall. And he misses low and away again. 3-0. Couldn't ask for a more picture-perfect weather day in Cincinnati, and all of us have our fingers crossed that perhaps spring has finally arrived. Hall gets a green light, 3-0, and fouls it straight back. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Just a beautiful day.
It is absolutely gorgeous here today in Cincinnati. I mean, what a great ballpark this is here. And, you got that nice smell of spring and summer coming with this nice weather.
You'll be making a long drive back to Pittsburgh, PA later tonight.
Hopefully it's not overcast in Pittsburgh. It usually is.
3-2 to Hall. He just swung at ball 4. Well, the Pirates have their home opener today, right?
Yep, they got their home opener today. But I know the fans there are probably fired up. They're 4-2 off that road trip. Clint Hurdle brings a lot of energy to that club. They're going to love him, and I know they're excited about opening day in Pittsburgh. It's always a fun day.
That's a nice start. I mean, you open in Chicago against the Cubs, you go to St. Louis, and you come home 4-2.
Yeah, when they looked at that, in the offseason, they thought that's a tough first 6 games, and they came out of there pretty good.
There's a base hit into center field by Hall on a 3-2 pitch. So the Astros knocking on the door here in the second inning after getting a run in the first. 2 on, 1 out.
Well, Billy Hall was up there swinging. Got the 3-0 pitch, 3-1. Now swings at the 3-2 pitch was just up. Now not a great pitch to hit, but it's up in the zone again, and Billy Hall just drives it up the middle.
So now Humberto Quintero, the number 8 hitter. And he lifts a fly ball out into right center field, drifting and drifting to the warning track is Jay Bruce, tagging and advancing on to third, Wallace. 2 out with a pitcher coming up, but you cannot take this pitcher lightly. Brett Myers on opening day went 2 for 2, and bear in mind that's 2 for 2 against Roy Halladay. The last time we saw Halladay, he no-hit the Reds in Game 1 of the National League Division Series.
And then the pitcher got 2 hits off him. He's impressed. I mean, Brett Myers can swing it a little bit. He's been around the block, played in the National League a long time. He's gotten a lot of at-bats being a starting pitcher. So, you can't sleep, but you still got to make pitches on guys like this. Look at that goatee. That's awesome.
Well, why don't you let yours go like that then, if it's so awesome?
It's like Pirates of the Caribbean right there, right?
Check swing and a miss.
He could put a rubber band on that thing and become a wrestler. Call Vince McMahon at WWE and become a wrestler.
I don't know, the way you were talking about throwing around those weights at 5:30, those ropes and all that business at 5:45 in the morning. You might be right for that. Let that goatee go a little bit and be on your way.
I would be. Maybe I need to call Vince McMahon and see if I can get a wrestling get going. You be my manager. We come out and get some good music for us.
That'd be great. Oh, and 2 the count. Check swing. It didn't look like he went. Of course, you're known as the mayor. And Vince McMahon was nearly known as the senator's husband. His wife ran for Senate in Connecticut, I believe.
Yeah, in Connecticut. I think it was a tight race, too. She got some good votes, but she did not prevail in the end.
Runners on the corners. 2 out. 1 and 2. Pitcher against pitcher here in the second inning. And he struck him out to retire the side. A walk, a hit, 2 left. Reds bat in the second, down a run. In Cincinnati, first trip of this 2011 year. Reds will be the opposition for the Diamondbacks in their home opener tomorrow night. And we'll have the entire road trip for you right here on Fox Sports Ohio. After a 3-game stop in the desert, we go south to San Diego for a 3-game series. Padres have gotten off to a good start. A 3-2 record. Well, they've played St. Louis and San Francisco. That's a good record when you're taking on those two clubs to begin the year.
Those guys, that's some good pitching right there that you've faced the first 6 games. So to hang with those guys, you're doing a good job. I mean, Buddy Black does a great job out there in San Diego getting those guys ready, prepared to play.
Johnny Gomes.
It's also nice, too, for the Reds right now. We were talking about yesterday, you know, your first road trip of the year, you're going out west. You know you're going to get good weather. You're going to be in Arizona, going to be in San Diego where it's 75 and sunny every day. So it's nice in April to get a lot of games out west.
Yeah, it's sort of that catch-22 thing. You know, you love going to those two cities, Phoenix and San Diego, two of the best stops in the league. And you hate to have them over with, you know, the first month of the year. But if you're going to play them on the road, why not go ahead and play them early? You're going to play in that good weather. Of course, in Arizona, they have a dome, but, of course, it never rains there.
Right. It's always, you're right, though. It is always nice to go out west. And, you know, sometimes you don't want to burn it early. But going out there, at least you know you're going to get good weather. At least for the hitters, they know they're not going to have to freeze, you know, maybe be in Cleveland or something like that early on.
Big ball forward to Johnny Gomes. I don't know if it'll last, but in the 3 years that we have seen Johnny Gomes, he has never, even during his hot streaks, shown the patience that he has shown through the first 5 games in 1 at bat. That is already 8 walks that Johnny Gomes has drawn this year. 8 of them.
It's been impressive, and I think it a lot has to do with getting a chance to play every day, starting to get into you know, a rhythm of seeing pitches and trying to get your pitch to hit. But when you play every day and you know you're going to be in there, you can start to do those kind of things. When you play every once in a while, you're swinging early. Maybe you're not taking as many pitches. You don't have the same timing. So Johnny being able to play last year, I no doubt has helped him with his eye at the plate.
All right, now Jay Bruce, 5 for his first 18 on the year with 1 run batted in. Looks at a breaking ball to even account 1-1 to Jay Bruce. Chased a pitch up and away, a fastball, and he's behind a ball and 2 strikes. Myers led the Astros with 14 wins last season, an outstanding 3.14 earned run average in 33 starts. More remarkably, he went 6 or more innings in his first 32 starts of the year. That is a Houston franchise record and the longest streak in the major leagues since 2002. Bruce gone on strikes, 1 away. That's when Curt Schilling, and I saw those games in 02. Schilling went 6 or more innings in his first 35 starts.
Well, you know what? It's pitches like that right there, nasty curveball, that made him go 6 innings plus in 30 consecutive starts. That's unbelievable. I mean, talk about a manager like Brad Mills being able to pencil in Brett Myers, know what you're getting. You're going to save your bullpen that day. You're not going to have to mix and match so much. You're going to save a lot of players because Brett Myers is able to go out there and give you 6+ innings every time out. He's a horse.
Edgar Renteria getting the start today at shortstop.
He's got pretty good numbers career against Myers. 425 for Renteria, 2 homers, 8 ribbies.
And that's in 40 at bats, so he's seen him play. Of course, for so many years, when Renteria first came to the major leagues, roughly about the same time, a little bit before Myers, but they played in the same division. When Renteria was with the Marlins and Myers was in Philadelphia. Two and one.
You know, you watch Renteria's setup, and it's a little unorthodox. You don't see a lot of guys nowadays in the big leagues with a closed stance like he has. But that's why he drives the ball to right field so well. You see how his front foot right here is almost you know, across his body, across his back foot. It's in front of it. And so that's that close stance. What it allows him to do is try and stay on the baseball really good, keep his front shoulder tucks. That's why he drives the ball the other way. His whole career drives the ball to right center and right field. But what it does, though, it really keeps him on the baseball and through the baseball. And you don't see a lot of guys do it, but Edgar Renteria does it. He's done it for years, and he does it better than anybody in baseball. But you don't really see that because sometimes you can block yourself off and really lock up your hips, but not for Renteria. He has that closed stance, steps, and he's still able to get his hands inside the ball and get that rotation on the backside.
2-2 on Edgar Renteria. And straightaway center field. That ball hits pretty well. Racing back is Bourgeois at the wall, and it's up against the wall, and this is going to tie the game. Johnny Gomes rounding third on a run-scoring double by Renteria.
Nice piece right there. I mean, like we were talking about before, he stays behind the baseball. Watch how he steps. This ball is up, and he's able to still drive it, stay behind the baseball, get through it, and drive it to center field. Nice piece of hitting right there by Renteria. Couple more feet. Been a nice little two-run Johnny.
Well, what an amazing career Renteria has had. We talked about the MVP of the World Series for the Giants last year. Also played for the World Series champion Marlins in '97. He's played in 66 Division Series games, 7 different Division Series, 5 League Championship Series, and 3 World Series.
Anywhere he goes, he wins, it seems. In all those years I watched him in St. Louis, you know, he won there. The Marlins, he won there. Goes to San Francisco, they win there. And this guy, there's a reason Walt Chalky brought him in. He's a winning type player.
Well, really a giveaway at bat right there by Juan Francisco. First pitch swinging, a tapper down to first. 2 away with Renteria advancing on to third. We'll see if they decide to pitch to Ryan Hanigan. What a start for the Reds catchers this year. After driving in the second most runs, the tandem of Hernandez, Hanigan, a little bit of Corky Miller. Among all National League teams last year, you can't start any better than the duo of Hanigan and Hernandez this year. And they're going to walk him.
I would. I wouldn't face Hanigan right now. He's hitting .714. I mean, right now, he's locked in at the plate. They got the pitcher on deck. It makes sense. You know, you want to go out there and want to get your third out right here with the pitcher coming up.
Now, one thing we do know about Sam LeCure, he likes swinging a bat. Now, a lot of pitchers might like swinging it. This guy can swing it. Spring training, after the injuries to Cueto and Bailey, and I know it's spring training, but Tim Lincecum was on the mound that day for the Giants. It was his final start before his opening day start. And the Reds in 4 innings scored 7 runs against Lincecum, including a double off the left field wall by Sam LeCure.
Well, you know what's impressive? You go down and you say Mike Leake, Travis Wood, Sam LeCure. They got some guys that can swing the bat. I mean, Bronson, he can even swing it a little bit. I mean, it's nice when you have some pitchers that can swing it a little bit. You know, you can tell too. Like right there, you can see his approach is good. He's got that nice easy step. Like you can tell he can swing it a little bit.
And you can tell by the pitcher throwing him a first pitch breaking ball
that he knows too. Brett Myers did his homework.
Comes back with another breaking ball. 1-1. Reds have tied the game. After a leadoff walk to Johnny Gomes here in the second inning, he races in from first on a double by Renteria. Sam thought about it, lays off. 2 balls and a strike.
How about that? 3 breaking balls of the starting pitcher. I mean, like I said, obviously he knows Sam can swing it. He's not going to just give him something, a cookie out over the plate that he can hit early on. Because usually as a pitcher, you're probably up there swinging early. And Brett Myers obviously, you know, dropped 3 curveballs on him to start the at-bat.
Finally got a fastball and threw it by him.
I always love watching pitchers BP because they're always like, oh, check this out, watch me go deep. You know? They're always in there trying to go deep every time. Love it.
Good eye there on a 3-2 pitch. Well, Mr. LeCure making him work out there.
You know, nice job. Regardless of what happens here, hit or no hit, he's made Brett Myers throw him 6 pitches, which is a good thing.
Well, let's see if he can find a hole somewhere and drive in that go-ahead run. 3-2 on LeCure. He walked it.
Well, the fans are cheering. They know it was good or bad right there. But I tell you what, Brett Myers is kicking himself right now because he started off with 3 breaking balls on LeCure. I mean, I know he's the pitcher, and but sometimes you're giving too much credit to a guy. Okay, this guy can swing it, but he's still the pitcher. He's still not a everyday position player. I mean, you're Brett Myers. I mean, go at him. Fill up the strike zone and see what he has. Don't walk him.
Well, now they're loaded for Drew Stubbs. He flied out to short right field his first time up. Saw the 1 career grand slam, and many may recall that one. Second game of the year last year against the Cubs. Late in the game, that proved to be the game winner. Good fastball there. Well, it's funny, isn't it? The way Myers looked in the at-bat against LeCure and comes right back against Stubbs. 2 great pitches.
Well, just like he was saying, I'm not going to, dilly-dally around here and just flip stuff up. I'm coming right at Stubbs. I got the bases loaded. I got to come right at him.
Well, what a great crowd here today. I've continued to maintain that if the Reds played more weekday afternoon games, this is by far the biggest crowd in this series.
No doubt about it. I agree. You got a beautiful day. You're able to bring get your kids out, maybe play hooky one day or a businessman special. Bring your buddies from work, right? A couple guys, hey, let's go over to the Reds game, then head back to work, or not go back to work, or happy hour. But yeah, this is great. These day games, weekday day games are great. Look at this crowd. These guys are here and they're excited.
There's a big pitch right here. 2-2 on Stubbs. Almost hit him. Well, everybody gets started now. Renteria, the runner at third, Hannigan at second, LeCure on at first. 2 outs, 3-2 pitch, 1-1 game. Here's that grand slam last year against Caridad. A game winner to straightaway center field it turned out to be. He's looking for a base hit right here and right now. And he pops it up. Right side of the infield. And that is that. But the Reds tie it 1-1, end of 2.
I mean, it's still a 9-inning ball game. I mean, you just get to hit first. It's the only thing that changes, and you don't get the last at bat. But Still 90 feet to first, you know, you got to hit it over the fence for a homer, you know. But you can look into it a whole lot, but you try not to and just try and play the same game.
I mean, I love playing in Arizona. It's real nice. I mean, I wish we wasn't going to Arizona as soon, you know, like we're doing right now. As long as we're not in good year, you know, say we're good. You know, we're going to be in Phoenix, you know, nice area, a lot of shopping, a lot of good eating, and a lot of winning.
Well, that's what you like to hear, don't you? A lot of winning.
A lot of winning. That sun must have been bright in the clubhouse right there.
The Diamondbacks home opener tomorrow. Play a night game, late afternoon by Phoenix standards on Saturday. And then a afternoon tilt Sunday, night game Monday, night game Tuesday. Very late afternoon start. Even by San Diego standards on Wednesday. It's very odd. You play on the West Coast and they're starting the getaway game at 3:30 in the afternoon Pacific time.
Yeah, that's never good. They'll probably get a few shadows there too.
Top of the order here in the third against Sam LeCure in a 1-1 game. And it's strike one to Jason Bourgeois, who singled into left field, stole a base, and scored in the first inning. The Reds will get the three best Arizona starting pitchers in that series beginning tomorrow night. Ian Kennedy, he was their opening day starter. Their most talented pitcher goes in game 2, young Daniel Hudson. So 2 right-handers and then left-hander Joe Saunders, who, you know, he had a rough year last year after coming over from the Angels, but he's been a pretty dependable left-hander for a number of years. The Reds will go with Travis Wood, Bronson Arroyo, Mike Leake. Padres are juggling their rotation around almost on a daily basis. They're trying to figure out when they're going to start their #1 pitcher, who began the year on the disabled list, Matt Latos. I'd like to dodge that guy if he can. He's tough.
Yeah, you'd like to hopefully he waits till the Reds leave town and then he comes back.
Or, you know, if he wants to come back over the weekend, that's fine too.
Right, then you can miss him.
Right. I saw Bud Black last Saturday, and he said Latos was going to pitch this Saturday, which meant the Reds were going to miss him. But apparently they're still trying to make some alterations to those plans. 3-2 on Bourgeois.
Latos really, you know, evolved last year and became one of the best pitchers in the game. You know, obviously their frontline starter, but one of the better starters in the game of baseball.
The Reds return on Friday, April 15th. That's a Friday night. It's Free Agent Friday at Great American Ballpark, presented by Mint Martini. And happy hour specials, singles events, a Reds House DJ, and more. 513-381-REDS or visit Reds.com. That'll be a big Friday night. Good battle here to begin the inning. Still 3-2 on Bourgeois. Ninth pitch in this at bat, and it's on the way. There'll be a 10th.
You know, as a pitcher, you'd rather have guys earn their way on than just let them get on. You know, so Sam's trying to just keep pounding that strike zone and make Bourgeois earn his way on.
Pitch number 11 will be next. Leadoff man has reached in each of the first 2 innings against LeCure. Bourgeois in the first. He later scored. Wallace reached on a walk and was stranded at third, and this time the leadoff man is denied on a good 3-2 breaking ball.
Well, got him going with all those fastballs, and then says, all right, try this breaking ball. But it's a good one right there. It's right in the zone, heart of the zone, just drops down outside the strike zone. But right here as a hitter, when you're going to swing at that pitch, you've seen all those fastballs in a row, and you think he's coming back with it. Sam kept that curveball in the zone perfectly till the last second when he got that good tilt, got him to swing at it.
Comes right back with another one. Strike one to Angel Sanchez. Off the end of the bat, a soft liner to Juan Francisco, and the first two retired here in the third. It's only natural that fans oftentimes, and the press in particular, get wrapped up in, what's going to happen when, ... And so much of that talk surrounds a return, certainly by the end of this month, for both Johnny Cueto and Homer Bailey. But for guys like Mike Leake and Sam LeCure, they don't want to hear about any of that. They have a job to do, and that's to start every 5 days and make whatever decisions have to be made. Very, very tough for Walt Jocketty and Dusty Baker and Brian Price and company.
Exactly. The biggest thing when you're a player is control what you can control. You can't worry about guys are coming out, Cueto and Baylor are coming back, what's going to happen to me. Listen, for Sam LeCure and Mike Leake, go out and keep having great starts. Do your job. Do it the right way. Make an impression on Dusty Baker. So when that becomes decision time, it's going to be a tough decision. So, I mean, you see Homer Bailey here earlier today, throwing a little bit of a side session, bullpen session, getting things going. Obviously, he's close. Johnny Cueto's close. But these guys, Sam and Mike Leake, they need to go out there and keep doing their jobs, control what they can control, and that's having good starts.
And Mike Leake certainly did his part in the opening game of this series. Went 6 innings, allowed only 3 hits and 2 runs, getting a win. And now LeCure. Two-two pitch. Just low. Only 4 other games will be played in the National League today or tonight, including the Pirates home opener we mentioned against Colorado. An afternoon tilt to wrap up the Mets and the Phillies over the weekend. Atlanta and Milwaukee, an afternoon game. Here's strike 3. And the Nationals in Florida later tonight. A 1-2-3 third for Sam LeCure. Sign out in right center field today, Darryl Bissick of Batavia, who currently drives a 1992 Camry that has 241,000 miles on it. Would win the beautiful new Tundra here at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by saying your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. A 1-1 affair. Reds bat here in the bottom of the third inning. 2, 3, and 4 in the order. Phillips, Votto, Johnny Gomes. Fly ball into right field. Pence still drifting. 1 out.
The ball's carrying today, Tommy. I mean, we've seen the last few nights at night, the ball's been dying out there at the track. You've seen Quintero and now Phillips drove balls that didn't look like they got them too well, but they're going out there to the fence.
Well, neither team is homered in this series. Just the 50th and the 51st homerless games in this ballpark, where 654 games have been played in.
Especially with all the runs that they've scored in the last couple nights, it's amazing that none of them will come off homers.
Yep. It's only the second time in the ballpark's 9-year history that there has been a streak of 2 straight games without a home run by either team, and it hasn't happened since 2005.
Wow, that's a long time.
All right, Joey Votto. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, Brett Myers is not, when he first came up in the big leagues, he was a power pitcher. You know, over the years of having some injuries and being up and down bullpen to the starter, he's really become more of a finesse guy. I wouldn't want to say finesse, but you know, he has to pitch now. He really has to, you know, paint the corners, you know, get that curveball to really work for him. And he's got a pitch, and he does it pretty well.
Myers in every way, shape, and form, with the exception of that lack of power pitching anymore, reminds you so much of Curt Schilling. Of course, the two spent time together when Myers was very young on a trip through Japan. And his setup is exactly the same as Schilling. His windup is exactly the same as Schilling. The way he walks around the mound is just like Schilling. Schilling wore 38. Myers wears 39.
That's amazing. He does look a lot like Schilling. This is a nice pitch right here. Looks like Schilling-esque curveball right there. And then you're seeing him pounding those curveballs into Votto that are having that late action. Brett Myers is good. We talked about Mike Leake the other day. Has that good late zone action. Brett Myers, same way. He might not be 95, 96 miles an hour, but it's late in the zone. Everything tilting late in the zone with his curveballs late in the zone. He's got a lot of good movement late.
Johnny Gomes walked and scored, leading off the second inning. FoxSportsOhio.com, Hall of Fame baseball writer Hal McCoy standing by right now for a live in-game chat, and we'll bring you the latest NFL mock draft on FoxSportsOhio.com, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO and SafeAuto.com. Speaking of football, our old buddy Bob Trumpy, who of course has lived here forever in Cincinnati, stopped by to say hello before the game. An outstanding player, great broadcaster.
Great to see Trump. And when you shake his hand, you think he's going to break your hand. He's still super strong.
Big man.
His hand's huge.
Good tight end for a long time in the NFL. 3-1 to Gomes. Popped it up. Myers going to put together a 1-2-3 inning right through the heart of the Reds' order. So we played 3. Reds and Astros are tied at 1. proudly serving America's restaurants, schools, retailers, and our military. JTM Food Group. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Sonic, America's drive-in. It's new, it's better. It's the new Sonic Good. Johnny Bench exhibit over at the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum. That ball driven into right center field by Carlos Lee. And some miscommunication out there by Jay Bruce and Drew Stubbs.
He's going.
Coming to third, and here comes a throw there, and he is safe. Francisco must have lost sight of the ball. And a rare miscue in the outfield defensively for the Reds.
We talked about it earlier, Tommy. The ball is carrying today, and that ball is hit well by Carlos Lee. And it just kept carrying. And I think, Stubbs goes after it, and Bruce is coming after it, and then who's got it? But I'm surprised here that El Caballo went for third. And if Francisco is able to come up with that, they probably have him.
That's a ball that normally is caught all day, every day by one of those two in right center field. Second triple of the year by Lee. The go-ahead run is at third with nobody out here in the top of the fourth inning. Brett Wallace walked his first time up. Inside corner, and apparently just off of it. 3 balls and a strike to Wallace.
Situation right here where Wallace is looking for that pitch. He can drive to the outfield or even just something on the ground to try and get that run in.
And he put it on the ground. It'll drive in the run. Bobbled by Renteria, but his throw is in time. And the Astros have their second lead of the game.
Same thing that Pence did before, just get it on the ground, get the run in. Brett Wallace did the same thing. A 3-1 pitch. Just try to get that run in. Ground ball gets it in just as good as a hit or a sac fly.
So now Johnson, who lined out to Jay Bruce in the second inning. Houston a 2-1 lead here in the fourth. Now, LeCure did not have the advantage of preparing for this season as a starter until very, very late in the spring. Now, he's not a guy you're going to run out there for 90, 100 pitches in the game today. Just based on how much he was quote-unquote stretched out, or more accurately not stretched out, due to the injuries to Homer Bailey and Johnny Cueto pretty deep into the spring. You got to remember, Cueto went down pretty early in the spring, about the midway point, and Mike Leake was already preparing to be a starter in the competition for that final spot in the rotation. You can only get so many guys ready to be a starter. There are only so many games and so many innings. But Bailey's injury occurred very late in the spring, and that's when LeCure found out that he would be preparing to be a part of the rotation. And so that game against the Giants we were talking about earlier in Scottsdale, when he locked up with Tim Lindsay. He pitched very, very well, but they got him out of there after 4 innings.
Well, that's the one thing. If you know you're going to be a starter, then you prepare that way and you stretch it out a little bit. And for Sam, having started his whole career, I mean, obviously that helps him to get prepared. But as a young pitcher like that, when you don't know your situation, you don't know exactly what's going to happen injury-wise to guys, you got to always kind of be prepared in your mind to say, listen, if somebody goes down, I got to be ready to step in there and be the guy.
Another 3-2 count on another Houston batter. This will be the 62nd pitch of the afternoon for LeCure. It's 3-2 on Johnson. Johnson helped him there, chasing a pitch up.
You've seen a lot of guys swing at that fastball up to them, LeCure. I mean, I wonder how it's coming out of his hand. You know, when it's halfway there, he's got that good late run at the end. It just, I think for guys, it looks like it's right there. But they've seen a lot of guys swing at that high fastball today.
Struck him out on a good breaking ball. We've seen a number of those today by Sam LeCure. That's his 4th strikeout.
Nice piece of pitching right there. But like he did it before, up here. I think he did this to Bourgeois too. Bourgeois up out of the zone. He swings out, then he drops his curveball on him. That's, you know, pretty nasty. Like you said before, it stays in that zone a long way, about 56 feet, and about that last 4 feet, it starts leaving guys. So that's a nice tight curveball he's throwing there.
2 gone in the inning. A run-scoring inning for the Astros, who have a 2-1 lead, and Bill Hall, who's single to center field, looks at a ball. It won't be long before we see the Astros again here in Cincinnati. They'll make 2 trips here before the Reds visit the Lone Star State. The next homestand is the Pirates in Arizona. That'll be a 7-gamer beginning Friday, April 15th, and ending Thursday the 21st. And then after going to St. Louis and Milwaukee, the Marlins and the Astros come in over the final weekend of April and the first 4 days of May.
What do you think about teams nowadays? You know, obviously in the last 8 years, 10 years or so, playing the division teams 18 times. I mean, do you like that? Or
I do like it. I mean, I miss the fact that, you know, you miss maybe a couple of series against the Dodgers or a couple of series against some of the other clubs that you enjoy playing. But I mean, it seems like it's a pretty fair barometer as to which team would be the best in the division. You agree, or do you not like it?
I do agree. I think as a player, though, you get sick and tired of seeing the same teams over and over and over and going to the same places. You want to get out to L.A. twice, or you want to travel around a little bit. But I think it is fair to see who wins the division. You play the division foes, 18 times.
And then, of course, there's a whole topic of interleague. What do you think about that, Sean Casey?
Well, you know, as a player, I don't love interleague. I don't love it. I mean, I think, you know, especially when you talk about that. I mean, I remember back when we used to play the Cleveland, you know, the Ohio series, we played them 6 times, and St. Louis is playing Kansas City 6 times. And at the end of the year, you know, it might be a 2-3 game swing here because of interleague play. I mean, if you're going to do the division thing and have teams play each other all the time to see who wins the division, I'd say just keep playing National versus American League, and we'll see in the postseason. Yep. We'll see in the World Series.
And there's a chance, I would imagine, as Brian Price visits a mound after a 2-out walk to Hall, that, you know, the powers that be continue to talk about that in baseball and whether or not it's sort of run its course for a little while and maybe back away from it, come back again down the road.
There was something magical, don't you think, when you didn't see, oh man, you'd go out to those in the World Series. Yep. You'd go out because, we haven't seen an American League team. This is really cool. This means something. 2 leagues, you know, going at it in that final 7-game series. But you know, it's lost a little bit of its luster because you see those teams sometimes during the year a few times.
Ball dancing around over there at first base. It's ball 1 to the catcher, Humberto Quintero. And if LeCure wants to hang around in this game for a while, he's got to start throwing some more strikes. You saw only 1 more strike than balls of the 69 pitches that he has thrown in the game. LeCure has walked 2 and a lot of full counts to batters in this game. And he's trailing 2-1. There's a strike. One on and fouled out of play. The Astros will play their home opener tomorrow. Boy, if they were to go back home starting the year 0-6, that's what happened to them. You may remember last year they started the season 0-8.
That's 0-14 if I'm doing my math right. Richmond degree
It's
right
that
there.
Pittsburgh math.
Pittsburgh math. 0-8 minus 6 is 14, right? That's never a good thing.
No, but you know what? The Reds have been down that road. I mean, there was a long time in between playoff stops here. Had some good teams in those years.
Yep, I was there. It was a very frustrating time. You know, we felt like we had some good clubs. A bunch of those years just didn't have the starting pitching. That's why I think people are so excited now. A nice pitch right there by LeCure. Outside fastball to Quintero to get out of that.
But the Astros get a run and lead by a run. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds. All right, time for our AT&T trivia question today. When was the last time two teams threw no hitters against each other on consecutive days? That's a good question. I'm sure there are a lot of folks who are very good at trivia. They're just saying, "Are you kidding me? That's a gimme."
I'm not one of them.
I'm not either.
That has to be a long time ago. Is it? You have to know the
I don't
answer.
know. I don't know the answer. Jay Bruce broke his bat. Sounded like he's taking a look, but apparently not. He's down a strike. Jay to be followed by Edgar Renteria and then Juan Francisco against Brett Myers. Jay, one of the few Reds, a little quiet offensively. That's a loud noise, but a foul ball. Holy Moses. That might end up in the river.
That ball was crushed. Wow, that was loud, too.
Straighten that one out, Jay.
Chased a high fastball and fouls it away. Still 0-2 to Bruce. Reds only one base hit. That was a run-scoring double to center field by Renteria to drive in Gomes in the second inning after Johnny had walked to start that inning. Myers in '99, an All-American high school career in Florida. Was a 12th pick overall that year in the first round. And so many outstanding years in Philadelphia. Here's the 0-2 to Bruce. And it's on the ground. An easy play for Hall. 1 out. Then when the Phillies started acquiring all those big-time talented pitchers in their rotation, they had Cole Hamels coming up and had an eye on a couple of others out there. Cliff Lee they had picked up in a trade. They were unable to keep him as a free agent. This is going back now 2.5 years ago. They bring in Halladay last year and said to Myers, hey, look, that's it.
And what does he do? He goes out and throws 30 consecutive starts, 6 innings plus. Still pretty legit.
Of course, Philadelphia's won 4 of its first 5. Myers will tell you that should be 3-2 because Myers had him beat on opening day. Philadelphia rallied against the Houston closer Brandon Lyon for 3 runs to win in the bottom of the 9th inning. A ball and 2 strikes on Renteria.
Renteria is the one guy that the back of his jersey always comes untucked every game. I know it's not really analyzing Renteria's baseball game, but I'm analyzing his wardrobe, and that always happens. At the end of every game, it's usually out.
That's a league rule. You got to keep it tucked in, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to keep it tucked in. He gets it, you know, he walks that fine line because it's tucked in the front and out in the back usually.
Trapper down to third, and that'll be an infield hit. Very tough play for Chris Johnson.
That's a tough play right there. Renteria, obviously a swinging ball down the line. Chris Johnson's only play right here is to barehand it and try to make a do-or-die play, and wasn't able to come up with it. When the ball's hit hard like that too and bouncing, that's a tough one, a tougher one to grab than it's just, you know, nice and easy, slow roll where you can grab it. Nice slow-mo right here, and just catches it on his fingers, can't get into the palm, and that's all she wrote.
Clark Performance Honda Exmo camera. And here's Juan Francisco. He swung at the first pitch and bounced out to the first baseman, Brett Wallace, his first time up.
Did he cross him up right there?
Looked like it. And I think that's what Quintero's out there talking with Myers about. You don't see that happen frequently unless there's a runner at second base. You'll see that.
I was going to say, you know, a runner at second, you see it happen, but not usually with a runner on first where it's, you know, they're going first sign. That looked like it caught him right in the mask, too. You know, they wear that mask, but you ask those catchers and the umpires, hey, how does that feel when you get hit in the face? It doesn't feel good.
No.
It rattles your cage a little bit.
My old buddy Bob Brenly used to tell me all the time, long-time former Major League catcher. And, of course, won a World Series as a manager with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I asked him one time, what's it like? He said, you know, said if you've ever had a chance to get into a boxing ring and when those guys are sparring and they put on the headgear there, you know, you're still getting punched in the head. Yeah, there's the shock absorber there and the padding. But he said that's what it's like. It's like somebody just turning around and punching you right in the face. But you've got some padding to soften the blow a little bit, but it'll still rattle your cage.
That's what they were saying. You'll still see stars, and it takes you back a little bit. So, you know, when you, as a fan, we watch those guys, oh, they got the mask on. No, I mean, those guys take some abuse back there when they're getting hit on the finger or they're getting hit in the mask, hit off the knee like Juan Francisco feels right now. I'll tell you what, when you foul a ball off your knee or your shin like that, and you wear those shin guards like he's wearing, it never ends up hitting those shin guards. And you walk around and everyone's yelling, "Get in the box, you're a wimp." And you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, my leg's numb. My leg's numb. What do? I have the biggest lump in my leg, and I just want to cry right now, but I got to get back in the box at some point." And he's going to throw another pitch in.
Now a rolled foul. Yeah, one wears his, it looks like just underneath his kneecap. I don't know if I've seen many guys wear one there. Have you?
No, I don't. Not many guys, but obviously it's there for a reason. He must, somewhere he swings the way he swings the bat, he must foul it off a lot right there. I used to wear mine down. I used to wear one down on my foot and on my shin, and I still have an indentation in my shin from fouling balls off just above the shin guard.
Really?
I was like, why am I wearing this thing? It never hit it anyhow.
Check swing, they throw it down to first. Renteria back. They appeal, and Francisco did not go around. I mean, you just never know about those foul balls. I recall vividly doing the playoffs in a series out in Oakland when Jermaine Dye fouled the ball off his leg, wound up breaking it in 4 different places.
Well, you figure it's coming in 90-some miles an hour. It has to be going off your shin about 100.
And there's strike 3 called on a breaking ball. 2 gone.
I'll tell you what, that's been his bread and butter all day. I mean, you watch Brett Myers all day long. That breaking ball has really been nasty. And this is a tight up 12-6, comes up high out of his hand, and sometimes as a hitter that freezes you right there. See Francisco, that comes out of his hand, it looks up to you as a hitter, it kind of locks you up just enough where you give up on it, and then it bites down. And that's what Myers is doing so well today with that 12-6 curveball. It's very deceptive how it comes out of his hand, real tight up. As a hitter, sometimes you give up on it and then it breaks down.
Wyatt Hannigan intentionally walked his first time up, 5 for his first 7 with 2 home runs and 4 batted in. He had 2 home runs in a game over Milwaukee on Sunday. First time in his career that he had hit 2 home runs in a game. Short right field, coming hard is Pence, and into foul ground he'll get it, and that's it for the Reds in the 4th. We move to the 5th, where Houston maintains a 2-1 lead. The 16th, they take on the Pirates, and stick around after the game for a free post-game faith concert that'll feature Grammy-nominated artist Jeremy Camp, presented by Presco. In addition, the first 20,000 fans at that game receive a 2011 team calendar. 381-REDS, that's 381-REDS, or visit reds.com. Now, before we get out of town, I know that while the Reds are on the road next week, our longtime coordinating producer at Fox Sports Ohio, Doug Johnson, a heartfelt congratulations. We're sorry that he will be leaving Fox Sports Ohio to return to Pittsburgh, where he used to produce the games regularly. But he's on his way to being the big cheese there in your town. He'll be the executive producer of what is now referred to as Root Sports in Pittsburgh. And boy, Doug, for all of us who have had a chance to work for you, work with you, we can't thank you enough for everything, and what an unbelievable run you have had with the Reds and at Fox Sports Ohio. Every year making these telecasts better and better and better for the fans at home. And we're going to miss you. I know Doug and his family will settle in very nicely in Pittsburgh. The two towns are so similar in so many different ways. They've been there before already. Well, Doug Johnson, good luck to you. We're going to miss you, my friend.
Doug's such a great guy, and you know, he's gonna. They really are similar cities. I know we have a lot of rivalries, but they're similar cities as far as, you know, they got a lot of bridges, small town. You know, that's big city sports with a small town feel, nice suburbs. It's a really nice. You know, these cities are very similar. Doug Johnson's gonna love Pittsburgh, and I'll be hitting him up now that he's making the big bucks over there at Root Sports. I'll be hitting him up for a couple of Primanti sandwiches when I see him.
But I thought you were going to open that Skyline franchise.
I was. That's right. You and me are over that. I'll talk to Doug and see if he wants to open up one for me. I think I might just open it up for myself so I can just keep serving myself every day.
Take it outside, a ball to strike.
Tell you what, the one thing I love about Skyline is when you walk in there, food's on the table about 0.8.
No doubt.
Like, take a 5-way, bam, it's there. I ate it 0.8, it was out of there.
So what you're saying is, the other day when you drove it, there you look, Sean. So what you're saying is when you ordered that 5-way, did you sit down or did you take it in the car?
No, I sat down.
Okay, so you sat down, you got it on a plate,
I
sir,
sat
just
down,
like
yeah.
that.
I walked in, I was like, hey, she was like, what do you want to drink? I was like, take a Mountain Dew, and then I was like, can I order? Because I got to get out of here. She's like, yeah, what do you want? 5-way. So by the time I went to the bathroom when we came back, my 5-way was on the table already. And I love it. You know, listen, I love Skyline. That's the one thing I really, really miss about being around here is that Skyline chili. I didn't like it when I first got here. I was like, what's everybody all, you know, up in arms about?
I think it happens to a lot of
Then
people.
all of a sudden I kept eating it. I'm like, this stuff's unbelievable.
So would you slip into there that same Skyline every now and again off Fields Road, load up there on the way home after game?
Oh, it was every night. I'd show up 11 o'clock. They're like, how you doing, Mr. Casey? Good to see you. The usual. I'm like, yeah, give me a 5-way and 2 conies. And then I'd go to kiss my wife at night after I had the onions. She'd be like, back off. You usually sleep on the couch tonight. Or mix in a breath mint.
There's strike 3 called, a fastball from LeCure. And that is his 6th strikeout of the game.
But that's what he's been doing all day. Sam's been living out there, living on that corner. And when you can consistently throw strikes on that outside corner, you're going to get some off the plate sometimes by the umpire. He's going to give it to you if you've consistently shown and established that you can keep hitting that outside corner.
Well, you wonder if this will be the final inning for LeCure. We talked about in spring training and how he was not working as a starter, so he wasn't building up that pitch count like the rest of the guys in the rotation were. He's due to lead off in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jordan Smith is throwing in the Reds bullpen. That's pitch number 83 for LeCure. He's only given up 3 hits in the game and 2 runs.
He's pitched well. The 2 runs too came on ground ball RBI. So Sam's pitched well all day long.
There's a tapper down to 3rd. So 5 innings in the books for Sam LeCure. His spot due to lead off. We'll see if he bats when we come back.
Wherever you go this season, subscribe to MLB.tv to see every Reds game live or on demand on your computer and your favorite devices. With MLB.tv Premium, you can enjoy HD quality home and away coverage, multi-game view, and the ability to pause and rewind live games, Tom. That's nice. Visit Reds.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere.
Boy, like you're playing things. 3 for 3.
3 for 3, baby.
See the numbers for Sam LeCure?
With no infield hits.
That's exactly right. Bullets into the gap.
It's a nice line right there for Sam. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 6 punch-outs. Nice day right there by Sam.
And the pinch hitter for him bangs one into left field. Miguel Cairo. So the tying run aboard to begin the Cincinnati 5th inning.
Well, that's always nice for Miggy to come off the bench. It's always nice when you can get in there, pinch hit for the pitcher, get yourself a knock. It's great to have him coming off that bench. Dusty Baker loves to look down there and know that Miguel Cairo's going to do the job every time he gets in the game, whatever he has to do.
You know, Dusty was talking the other night when he and I were up on the stage during that Reds Uncut, that spectacular event we had over at the Aronoff Center for the Arts on Sunday night. And he'd give a little nugget about each player. Not necessarily stuff on the field, but things about him off the field. It was really funny and a lot of fun. And Dusty was so engaging. And as he got warmed up, I mean, he really got on a nice roll. But, you know, the one thing he talked about with Cairo, he said, you know, more than any other player I've ever been around, he said, with this guy, everything is mind over matter. And it was so interesting. I asked Miguel about it after we were finished. And Dusty used the example. He said, this guy will get hit on the elbow with a pitch. He'll get drilled on the hand. He'll foul a ball off his knee. Anything that could come his way. You know, your bumps you have along the road in life in general. He said, this guy, it is always mind over matter. It doesn't hurt. I'm fine. We're going to get through this. Positive outlook all the time. And when you've been around as long as Cairo and bounced around as often as Cairo, you know, I guess you got to think that way.
You got it. And that's probably why he's been around so long with so many different teams and had so much success, because he's a big positive guy. He always the glass is half full with Cairo. And I think what the great thing about Miggy is he accepts his role. He knows this is his role and what he needs to do, and knows what he needs to do to make this ball club win.
The ball is dropped, but they're going to get a force out at second base. Starting to say Myers really has Stubbs' number. That's the 3rd straight time he's popped up to the right side. So that fielder's choice will be scored at 9-6. Don't see those every day.
It's like a little miscommunication right there when Pence calls off Hall at the last second and just really botched it.
Well, the webbing popped out of that glove.
Oh, there you go. Remember, he snow-coned the one the other day. But whoops, don't have it. Been there.
Well, if you got to trade an out for the runners involved, you certainly would prefer to have Stubbs over at first base. The fastest Red. He's 2 out of 3 in attempts so far this year. Brandon Phillips is grounded to short and fly to right. Reds only have 3 hits in the game against Brett Myers. Double play ball here. And that's the way the inning comes to an end. A leadoff hit. But nothing thereafter. We move to the 6th with Houston still in front, 2-1. Last time two teams threw no hitters against one another on consecutive days. And the answer is 1969, April 30th and May 1st. The Astros and the Reds. Here you get a look. Our buddy Jim Maloney did it on the 30th. In a 10-0 win, struck out 13. And then Don Wilson, the late Don Wilson, a no-hitter the following day, also striking out 13.
That's pretty impressive right there. Almost the exact same line.
Well, what a pitcher Jim Maloney was. What a guy he is. He comes back every year. Of course, just inducted a while back to the Reds Hall of Fame, but shows up in spring training every year, and he's there for about 10 days talking to the young pitchers, working with them. What a guy.
Jim is a great guy. He was a great pitcher too, but it's nice to have guys like Jim Maloney that still come around and, you know, give the knowledge of some of the younger kids and you know, show them how things need to be done.
Speaking of younger kids, here's one of the guys that Jim Maloney had a chance to visit with frequently the last couple of years, Jordan Smith. Pitching in his third game already this season. Smith pitched 2 innings of 2-hit shutout baseball on Sunday in that rout of the Astros. That was on Monday, I beg your pardon. No, Tuesday. That was the first game of this series. I'll get it right one of these days. There's only 7 days in a week.
That's a day game. We'll give you benefit of the doubt, brother.
He gave up a run in 2/3 of an inning on opening day against Milwaukee.
Whoa. That looked like my first pitch the other day. I threw from 46 feet.
Oh, no, you threw a P in there.
You're right.
Your buddy Harold Reynolds beating up on you.
Yeah, you're right. I threw a rocket in there.
81 miles per hour, right?
81 miles per hour from 46 feet.
Hey,
that's not bad, right?
Not bad at all. I mean, it looks like nothing when you watch somebody else do it. But until you walk out there on that mound and throw an opening first pitch,
it's nerve-wracking.
It really is.
It is nerve-wracking. And the mayor, you know, of Cincinnati, you know, put it at another level of throwing that first pitch out and being scared.
Well, that took a high hop on Brandon Phillips. How slick is that right there? I mean, that's the kind of thing. There's another thing. I mean, you take for granted. I mean, go try that. Don't try that because it might hit you in the face in the backyard.
Well, you can't teach that right there. I mean, that guy has eye-hand coordination, but just such soft hands. I mean, this is a tough play right here. This is a tough hop, comes up, and he makes it look easy. And that's one of those plays that gets by most people, not Brandon Phillips. He makes it look easy, soft hands, gets his glove up there. Impressive. Another day at the office for him. He's seeing himself.
Now the batter been Carlos Lee, and he takes inside for ball 1. Reds down 2-1. The two teams have combined for the 3 runs on just 6 base hits. And we talked about it after the game last night. I mean, outside of Giovanni Gallardo, and of course Sean Markham is a very solid pitcher. He started the 2nd game of the year. Reds jumped on him early. He was very wild, and once he settled in, they couldn't touch him. But the 2 number 1s the Reds have faced this year, I mean, number 1s, it's what they're supposed to do to opponents. Give them a hard time. Gallardo did it on opening day, and Myers so far through 5 innings today.
Well, against number 1s, you got to battle. You got to do things right. You can't give out. You can't give extra outs during innings. You got to try and stay in the game. Hopefully, get that guy out of the game. Get to that bullpen. It's like Philadelphia did that first day. Myers gave him fits. They got into the bullpen late in the game. Ended up scoring a bunch of runs. When you face a guy like Myers, you hope to get him out of the game as quick as you can. Get into that bullpen.
Joey Votto for the 2nd out. Well, the Reds have the heart of the order coming up in the bottom of this 6th inning. Votto, Gomes, and Bruce.
That's why, too, another reason when you face a number 1 starter, Tommy, is that you want to try and get that pitch count up as early as you can. Because you know you're in for a battle, you're in for a dogfight. But if we can get that starter out 6th, 7th inning early on, now get a few innings into their bullpen, because we got his pitch count up and we had good at bats, that's just as good as getting a bunch of hits.
Great crowd, beautiful Thursday afternoon in Cincinnati. Blue skies above, lots of sunshine, warmer temperatures. The Reds have started this 2011 campaign 5-0 for the first time since the 1990 season, when they went wire to wire, winning then the National League West, and of course marching through the Pirates in a league championship series and the Oakland Athletics in a 4-game sweep of the World Series.
He wanted that pitch, Jordan Smith, huh? Started a little walk-off. It was a close one.
They'll try and put Wallace away here at a ball and 2 strikes. And that one's off the inside corner low. Atlanta's just tied Milwaukee. That's a 2-2 game in the 2nd inning. And the Pirates are trailing Colorado in the Pirates home opener. 2-1 that game in the 3rd. Struck him out. 1-2-3 for Smith. Votto to start things with the Reds down a run. For the Coors Light freeze cam, that pop-up a moment ago by Drew Stubbs, it scored it loose. Looked like it was right in the middle. It was right in the middle. It came popping out of there. So they got a force out, and a double play ball ended the inning. The Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. 2 runs, 3 hits for Houston. 1 run, 3 hits for the Reds. Reds averaging nearly 9 runs a game through their first 5. But they've been quieted dramatically here today by Brett Myers. They're trying to change that right now. Joey Votto has popped to short and struck out. Myers got him on a breaking ball down and in. Fastball away to even the count.
This is where the chess match really begins, when you're getting into your 3rd at bat, and you know, you're trying to make adjustments. Myers is trying to make adjustments to you, but as a hitter, you're trying to make adjustments to why you've gotten out the first couple times.
84 pitches in the game for Myers. For a guy like him, that's not a big deal. I mean, he's getting a little up there as far as age is concerned, but
he's not really a max effort type guy. I mean, he really, you know, kind of stays at a good pace. But he's not up there just max effort where he minds throwing over 100 pitches. He can do it.
Boston and Cleveland, no score that game in the 8th inning. The Red Sox have not won a game so far this year. Votto fights it off and drops it foul out of play. They're going back home. to Fenway Park for their home opener tomorrow, Sean Casey, to take on their rival New York Yankees, staring down the barrel at an 0-6 return to Fenway.
That's not good. Anybody to start off 0-6 is definitely not good, but especially the Red Sox. Nice pitch right there. A little change up with some sink on it. This is a pitch right here that we talked about before. This is what Myers is doing, getting that late action ball. Watch Votto kind of freeze up and give up on this ball. It's right at his front hip. He freezes up on it. See how he dances back a little bit. Watch his hips come back here. His hips come back a little bit because he thinks it's in, and it's not. It turns out to sink a little, gets a little run on the inside corner. That's a tough pitch. It's a pitch that just freezes you up. You can't explain why you can't pull the trigger, but as a hitter, it looks like it's inside, and then it tails back in. That's why Brett Myers is who he is. That's why he's a top of the rotation type pitcher, because he has that pitch in his repertoire.
Straight away center field off the bat of Johnny Gomes, and just like that, Votto and Gomes retired to open the Reds' 6th inning. Well, Jay Bruce due for a long one. He hit one a mile, just foul. Back in the 4th inning, he's 0 for 2 today. He's also struck out on a ground ball to second. Well, right here and right now, great time, Reds fans, to book a weekend trip at CincinnatiUSA.com. So many great things to do in and around Cincinnati, especially in the summer months. Kings Island, stronger than ever. World famous Cincinnati Zoo, among other things. And there's a lot happening. A lot going on downtown. You were surprised by the new Banks project?
Oh, man, this place looks awesome. The things they've done down here in downtown Cincinnati are... I wish I was here, right now. This is awesome. This place is starting to hop a little bit. Talk about Kings Island. I used to live out there in Mason, and Kings Island was like all right, kids, time to go to the park, the local park, Kings Island. We're going to go hang out for the day just for a couple hours and ride some roller coasters. They had that water park there, too. Not the beach, but they had that water park there. I'd bring the kids there, and, we'd be out there, and I'd try not to get too much sun because my Irish skin gets really burned, so I didn't want to get too much sun.
That water park's a ball, though.
Oh, it's a blast. Yeah. It's an absolute blast. The kids are like, where's Dad? I'm out there riding on the rides, and my kids are lost.
Now, since you've been gone, they have opened, a couple of unbelievable roller coasters at Kings Island.
Have they?
Oh, 2 of the fastest in the world.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to stop by.
Diamondback.
Oh, the Diamondback.
Oh, man, it is something else.
Well, that's a great place. That is a great place to go.
3-1 to Jay Bruce. Good breaking ball, 3-1 by Myers. Boy, that's a tough pitch.
That really is. It just leaves you. That's what I mean. That late action. That's a tough pitch to dial in on.
All right, 3-2 to Jay. Back up the middle. Hall gets there, leaps, throws, not going to get Bruce. That's an infield hit. Only the 4th hit of the game for the Reds.
That's where it's nice to have the speed like Jay Bruce has. But Billy Hall makes a nice play here coming up the middle. It takes one step too many right there. If he could have got it on the field right here with the jump throw, but he couldn't get a grip on it, looks like it. He takes 2 more steps to his right, and that really allows Jay Bruce to be safe. But you go back to that pitch right there. We're talking about Myers having such good stuff down in the zone, late in the zone. That pitch was finally up to Jay Bruce. He got it, was able to hit it enough to get it hard enough up the middle.
Well, the 4 hits the Reds have, 2 of them are infield hits. One by this guy, Renteria, in the 4th inning. And now Bruce. Of course, Edgar had that double to straightaway center field that knocked in the only Reds run back in the 2nd inning.
Usually when you see a club that has 4 hits, okay, a couple infield hits, they probably hit the ball hard around the field. Well, not today. And there haven't been too many balls squared up today off Brett Myers. And that says a lot about what his ball's doing in the zone. Because guys aren't able to square it up, the way you normally would, and you get a pitch out over the plate, okay, you squared it up, but you're out. Brett Myers' ball's dancing so much in the zone, guys. You're seeing a lot of pop-ups today, Tommy. You're seeing a lot of weak ground balls, and that's a testament to what Myers' stuff is doing late in the zone.
Well, you see knocking on the door at 100 pitches. No one getting loose in the Houston bullpen. And the Astros are still trying to win their first game of this season. They're going to ride this donkey as long as they can. And a little roller back up through the middle. It's not going to be an easy play. And you knew right away, as softly as it was hit and where it was hit, that even if it's fielded cleanly, they don't get Renteria at first base.
Yeah, look at Sanchez pinched over a lot of. It's amazing that wasn't his ball. I mean, Sanchez was over kind of pinched on Renteria, so he wasn't able to get it. He had to go way behind the bag. But that's a play that, don't you feel like that play should have been made somehow?
But where they were defensively, though, it made it tough. You know what I mean? But I know what you're saying.
It just looked like, when you watch it, you say, oh, that play should have been made. But Sanchez was over. He kind of, maybe could have gone to the base there where Billy Hall made a flip to him or something. But he ended up going, was 5 feet behind Hall when Hallman tried to make that play.
All right, big chance for Juan Francisco, and he pops it up on the first pitch. Boy, so many giveaway at bats in this game so far, and the inning's over. 2 infield hits, 2 left. We go to the 7th. Still a 2-1 game. TNT by Cincinnati Children's in the top 10 for all selected pediatric specialties in U.S. News and World Report's 2010 Best Children's Hospitals. And by your Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatiHondaDealer.com. Weekdays on Fox Sports Ohio, the Dan Patrick Show. And boy, big show coming your way. Rich Lerner's going to stop by from the Golf Channel. And actor Danny McBride. My, oh my. 9 a.m. the Dan Patrick Show on Fox Sports Ohio. All right, a 2-1 game. Jordan Smith still on in relief of Sam LeCure, who went the front 5. Allowed only 3 hits and a 2-run. Struck out 6. Smith with a perfect 6th inning. They'll face Chris Johnson, Bill Hall, and Quintero in the 7th. A few bodies beginning to move around anyway out in that Houston bullpen, with Brett Myers right around 100 pitches through 6 innings. And I would imagine they'll give Myers one more crack at it in the 7th. And not a good way to get it started for the Reds. In the left center field, Johnson will be held to a single as Stubbs gets to it and makes a perfect throw. That's a big league play right there.
Nice play by Drew Stubbs. Gets to the ball fast, cuts it off at the gap, and gets that one-hop throw into Brandon Phillips. Great play. But look where Stubbs starts here. He's kind of straight up on Johnson, but he just gets such good judgment. Look at this. That's a lot of ground he covered right here. I mean, that is a lot of ground, but he runs so easy like a gazelle out there, just stride for stride. Nice play right there by Drew. keeps the double play in order. You know, right here, the Reds just want to, if Jordan Smith and this bullpen can keep these guys right here, not let them score any more runs. Here we got a high fly ball up Jay. But just stay right here, Tom. You know, 2-1, let's get Myers. It's probably going to be his last inning. You know, he's almost at 97 pitches, I think. It's going to be his last inning. Get him out of the game. Get to that bullpen and give yourself a chance to put a couple runs on that bullpen. There's Scotty Roland saying, am I going in the game, or do I have the whole day off, or not the whole day? Or now he's starting to stress out. It's the first moment. It's the first time. Whenever you're on the bench, now you start to stress out. Oh, it's a 2-1 game. Big, when am I going in? Do I need to go down in the tunnel and stretch?
Well, that's probably where he's going right now.
Yeah.
After checking in with the manager, you walk right down the steps. And when you walk up that tunnel, a lot of folks never have a chance to obviously, most people, to get down in there. And basically, when you walk down those steps, as this is a double play ball, there's one, there's two.
Drew Stubbs kept that double play in order right there.
All right. Middle of the 7th. Can the Reds get it rolling? Down a run. Of the game. A double play turn to end the 5th inning. Sanchez to haul to Wallace, and keeping things at a 1-run Houston lead, and that's where we stand now as the Reds come to bat in the last of the 7th inning against Brett Myers. Myers so good on opening day in Philadelphia. Outpitched Roy Halladay in the season opener, only to have a win get away when Philadelphia scored 3 runs against closer Brandon Lyon in the bottom of the 9th inning. And here he is in his second start against a team which had scored 43 runs in its first 5 games of the year. And he's held them to 4 hits, 2 of them infield hits, and just 1 run. Actually 5 hits, 3 of the 5 infield hits. Ryan Hannigan looks at a ball. There's Scotty Roland. We talked about him a moment ago. He's waiting in the on-deck circle.
That's one thing when you get an off day here in the National League. It's never really an off day. You know you're going to double or come in pinch hit or double switch at some point. And that's what Scotty's going to be doing. Now, that's why, you know, the one thing when you're off the bench or you're not playing that day, you're always kind of paying attention of, okay, when can he use me here? What's going on? When's the pitcher coming up? Could he double switch here? And that's where you saw Scotty Roland, obviously being a veteran, comes up to Bake and says, hey, where are you going to use me? What's it look like? And now he's in the game getting ready to hit.
2 balls and a strike to Ryan Hannigan. Myers walked 3 batters, including the pitcher. One of those walks was an intentional walk in the 2nd inning. He has come nowhere close to a walk ever since then.
He's really just been filling up this strike zone, making quality pitches in the zone. Quality pitches late in the zone.
Astros have their bullpen busy. They have Mark Melanson, the right-handed, and their only left-hander is Fernando Abad. Trying to bridge that gap from Myers to Brandon Lyon. Reds are hoping to get something started against Myers right now. And it's in the air, but hangs up long enough for Bourgeois to get it. 1 out. Now Scott Roland. You know, Sean, you brought up something earlier which really amazes me, and there aren't many guys that are able to make that transition. Talking about Myers, from a guy who was power guy, and as his career evolves, you go through some injuries, you get a little older, you lose a little bit off that fastball. It's no longer 94, 95 miles an hour. And Myers, the kind of guy like Curt Schilling we brought up earlier that, you know, in the past, he might be pitching at 93, 94, but if he had to have that one pitch in the 6th or 7th, he'd hump up to 97, 98 in the old days. In the air left field. Has Roland tied the game. You believe it.
Just about to say, this is where you might catch lightning in the bottle right here. Come off the bench. He hasn't seen Myers all day long. Myers hasn't seen Scotty Roland. Scotty Roland gets a ball he can handle and ends up driving it out of the park. Sometimes that's the best way to do it, Tommy. Come off the bench. You're not thinking about much. You get yourself loose. You're just looking for a pitch because you haven't really settled into the game. And Scott gets a pitch to hit and deposits it into the left field. I mean, great piece of hitting. But like I said, sometimes you come off the bench and you get a pitch right there that kind of backs up. Scotty knew it was gone when he hit it. Great job right there. Boy, did that work out, that matchup right there. Perfect timing. And Scott puts a charge into this one.
Gamer.
That's all. Look at this swing right here. Catches it right out front. Look at that backside drive. Just stays through the baseball. Look at his head right down on the ball. Allows that rotation to be perfect. Awesome.
And for Brett Myers, his second straight outstanding start. And another no decision for him. The Reds have tied it. For Roland in his career against Myers and said, you know what, send me up there to pinch hit. Well, now tack on another hit, which is a home run. But Sean Casey, you had said it between innings. If Roland comes up, I think he's going to do something big here.
See, I did say that, Tommy. Thanks for getting that on air. That's big time. I was so mad I didn't say it. Then bam, he homers. I'm like, oh, I was going to say that. No. The point I was making was this does happen sometimes. When you come off the bench, you're not thinking about much. You're thrown into the fire. You're just kind of looking for a pitch out over the plate. You're not worrying about the Brett Myers been dealing all day long. And you get a pitch to hit and you hit and you deposit it.
I can't wait to tell Scotty after the game. You were
thanks, Tommy.
You were talking him up.
I really appreciate that, brother. You always got my back.
I really do.
You always have.
There's no doubt about it. Mark Melanson, who threw the ball very well in the game here last night. A perfect inning and a third with a couple of strikeouts. Former Yankee. Spin Stubbs out of the way. 2-0. 1 out, 1 in. Nobody on. A 2-2 game. We're in the 7th. Stubbs looking for something to drive here on 2-0. Way outside. Stubbs 0 for 3. Popped up 3 times in the game. And the third time, that was a play that Pence dropped the ball, but they got a force play on the runner attempting to go to second base, who had no chance to get to second base on that pop-up.
That hit right by Roland right there, it might be what the Reds needed to get things going. You know, sometimes you're just popping balls up and innings keep rolling over. Now Roland does that. Now you got a chance to get something going. And that's not it.
That's the 4th time today that Stubbs has popped up to right, or the right side of the infield. Another excellent start by Brett Myers. 6 1/3 innings, allowed only 6 hits and 2 runs. But the final pitch he threw, a pinch hit home run by Scott Roland to tie this game at 2. Can't win it, can't lose it. Now Brandon with 2 away. Cleveland takes a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Boston is batting with 2 outs and nobody on in the 9th. 1 out away from Boston starting the year 0-6 with a 3-game sweep in Cleveland.
Who would have thought that? I mean, I definitely would have put my money in Vegas on that, because with the lineup they had, they go get Gonzalez to get Crawford. You got Jenks at the end. You got all that starting pitching sitting there. Lester, Buchholz, Beckett, Lackey. No way would I think they'd start the season 0-6.
That was banged into center field, a base hit for Brandon Phillips. So here comes Joey, and we figure a pitching change will come as well with the left-hander Abad ready in the bullpen. So here comes Brad Mills. A pitching change. A Skyline Chili call to the bullpen in a 2-2 game. .30 beginning with This Week in Baseball. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. Part of a double switch made by Brad Mills. Matt Downs comes in to replace Bill Hall at second base. And now on the mound, a left-hander brought in, their only left-hander from the bullpen to face Joey Votto, is Fernando Abad.
The great thing about Joey Votto is he's just as solid against righties and lefties. I mean, he hits them both well. He got a nice hit off a bod last night, I believe, down the left field line. I mean, he's tough on righties, tough on lefties, and that's the great thing about having a weapon like Joey Votto. It doesn't matter who you bring in, he can hit him.
Votto hit that double down the left field line off a bod to drive in a run. In the 4-run 6th inning last night, he has Brandon Phillips to go ahead run at first, and that one hammered into right field. And that's a base hit. Ball was hit so hard, Phillips had an eye on going to third, but no chance.
We were saying before, it doesn't matter lefty, righty. You know, he comes in first pitch. You know, this is a product of him seeing 8 pitches, 9 pitches last night from a body. Gets a first pitch, kind of slider, curveball, little breaking ball, hammers at the right field. A great piece of hitting by Joey Votto right there. But that came from that at bat was seeing all those pitches last night from a bod. But look at this versus lefties versus righties. He's over 300, well over 300 against righties, but well over 301 against lefties. That's pretty impressive. I'll tell you what, when you have a guy like Myers and you're facing a guy that's rolling along, making great pitches, when you get to that pen, it's a confidence booster, no matter what. You just want to see someone else out there on the mound that you can hit a different look, somebody that has different stuff, and that's what you're seeing here. Brandon Phillips comes in, rocket up the middle. Votto comes in first pitch, rocket to right. Just get Myers out of the game, get to that pen, see something different, and that's a confidence booster.
Well, you wonder about that conversation right there with Brad Arnsberg, the pitching coach. And the left-hander Abad. You have the right-handed batting Johnny Gomes coming up, who has just worn out left-handed pitching over the last couple of years. Those are his career numbers, but since joining the Reds, those numbers against lefties are a lot better than that. And you have a left-handed batter in Jay Bruce due up next. They throw him a first-pitch changeup for a strike.
He knew Johnny was hacking right there. He wasn't going to give him a first pitch fastball cookie that he could turn on. He was definitely going to try and throw a strike with something on speed there.
Go ahead run is Brandon Phillips at second. Reds have tied the game on a Roland pinch hit home run, and Gomes looks at a fastball right down the can for strike 2. There's no fooling around here in this at bat, even with a lefty on deck.
Johnny's shaking his head right there like, oh, I should have pulled the trigger right there. 0-1. Comes back with a fastball, but sometimes you just don't know why you don't pull the trigger.
Gomes 0 for 2 has walked and scored a run. That one in the air down to third base line and out of play. Look at those numbers in his career with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Those are pretty good.
Those are pretty good numbers right there.
Pretty good.
He's been a clutch player his whole career. He showed it last year with how well he did with runners in scoring position and with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. He's a tough out with guys out there.
And where Gomes admittedly changed his mindset, if you will, last year, one of the reasons he was better than he's ever been in those situations is because he cut down his swing a little bit and tried to drive the ball back up through the middle or into right center field. Got beat with a fastball right there, and this should end the inning. It will, but Scott Roland comes off the bench, and with one mighty crack of the bat, he ties this game at 2. Every game on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Kings Honda and the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. And Honda brings us our National League Western Division standings. We look at the West because that's where the Reds are headed today. A 3-game series in Arizona. The Diamondbacks split 2 games in Colorado on the road. Lost 2 out of 3 to the Cubs in Chicago. So tomorrow night is Arizona's home opener. And then on from there to San Diego. Padres beat St. Louis 2 out of 3 on the road. Came back home and split 2 games against the Giants. Changes for the Reds. We start with Chris Heisey in left field, part of a double switch, with Gomes leading the game, and on the pitch, right-hander Nick Massett. Massett got off to that terrible start last year and then was back to where he's been really ever since coming over from the White Sox in the Ken Griffey Jr. trade. Lights out. In 2009, there was no better setup man in the National League, nor was there from about the 3rd week of May through the end of last year.
You talk to anybody down there on the staff, the players, you talk about who's got the nastiest stuff on the club stuff-wise, and people just keep talking about massive stuff. It's just electric. I mean, obviously Chapman throws 105 miles an hour, which is pretty good too, but it's nice to have that problem. But they talk about Massett having some great stuff.
Massett coming in, throwing strikes, facing Matt Downs, and back to the top of the order, Bourgeois and Sanchez next. Milwaukee a 3-2 lead over Atlanta. That game in the bottom of the 4th inning. Milwaukee trying to win that series after slipping to 0-4 after losing the first game. Now back out of play. And it is a final indeed. We brought it up earlier, but Boston will limp back to Fenway Park to open their home slate against the Yankees tomorrow. 0-6 to begin the year.
That is unbelievable, especially with the club that they have assembled. Obviously, they're going to be all right. That was nasty right there. Chris Johnson's not all right. Right, Chris Johnson? Oh, no, who was that? Downs. Downs is not all right. That was nasty mess right here. Watch this. 12-6. I mean, we were talking about before, that's a hard 12-6. It's up in the zone. Watch this rotation up and watch it just dive down. I mean, that is nasty. Hannigan spots it perfect with the outside black at the knees. That's a great pitch right there.
Of course, Massett, one of those rare relievers who has more than just 1 or 2 pitches he throws for strikes because of his days coming up through the White Sox system as a starting pitcher. And you may remember the Reds gave him a look a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, to earn a spot in the rotation. Wound up in the bullpen, and that has turned out to be one of the better trades the Reds have made in a long, long time. Not going to be great every game. Nobody is. But, I mean, considering where Ken Griffey Jr. was at that particular point in his career, not what he had done beforehand, but where he was in 2008, to get a guy like Massett, that's pretty doggone good.
That's really good. You know, now you got a future arm, a future part of this team and what they're trying to do. And obviously, you know, Junior was on his way, you know, back end of his career, but you got a guy like Massett that's going to be here for years to come, and a guy that's reliable and has got great stuff.
And depending on what the team elects to do at the end of this year, Massett could very well be the team's closer this time next year. But that's a long ways away. See you later. Back-to-back strikeouts for Massett.
Another nasty 12-6 curveball. Same thing again. It looks good, it's up, and see you later. It leaves you. You know, as a hitter, you hang on to it. Maybe it's a fastball, it's up, but it's not. It's a hard 12-6 curveball. Like you talked about too, Tommy, him being that starter in the minor leagues really helps him to have a a repertoire of pitches when he comes out to face these guys out of the pen.
First pitch swinging on a 96-mile-per-hour fastball. The bouncer into left field. A base hit for Sanchez with 2 away.
Hey, Reds fans, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting products for your menu. Inspired solutions, better results. JTM. Man, I nailed that one too, Tom. My bad. I'm on fire.
Oh, man. 2 away in the inning, and here's Hunter Pence. A 2-2 game. We're in the 8th. Ball 1. Another thing Massett does, which it is quite rare, that guys who are setup guys pitching in the 7th or 8th inning, a reliever that will work out of the regular windup when they come in a game. Massett will do that. Obviously, that changes when a runner gets on. But most guys who pitch exclusively out of the bullpen just always come in and work out of the stretch.
That's good too for him. Obviously gives hitters different looks, but for him getting that, being able to come out of the windup and get a little more power behind the ball, that just shows what kind of starter he was in the minor leagues.
1-1 to Pence. Go ahead, run at first. We're in the top of the 8th inning of a 2-2 game. Oh.
That's a knee buckler right there.
That's a body buckler.
Body buckler. Pence goes to he goes to take cover, and then all of a sudden it just comes down right in the strike zone. Oh, I've been there before. Absolute take cover, and the ball's right down the middle.
Now, would you yell at an opposing player just kidding around, take cover after a pitch like that?
I might. If he came to first base, I'd be like, hey, man, it looks like you really hit the deck on that one.
All right, let's see if Massett can put a very dangerous hitter away. 1-2 the count with a runner at first and 2 outs. Massett lets it fly, a fastball that got away from him. Talk about it all the time. 2-2 is the action pitch for Massett. If you go to 3-2, obviously that runner gets a start over at first base. So this is a pitch he's trying to make it happen. Three and 2. Figured Pence would chase that pitch.
Good discipline right there by Pence, not chasing that pitch. That was a good pitch by Massett. Put it right where he wanted, just out of the zone. And Pence was able to have some good self-discipline right there and hold up.
They all pitch. Sanchez can run. He gets started. Here it comes. And he walked it. My, oh, my. So a 2-out threat here for the Astros in the 8th inning. A single by Sanchez, a walk to Pence. And here comes the always dangerous Carlos Lee.
This is the one guy in this lineup you don't want to see in this situation. First and second. Carlos Lee's, been known to be an RBI machine throughout his career. You're going to have to, Massett's really going to have to pull out his good stuff in this matchup against Lee.
All right, here we go. The Reds just tied the game on a pinch hit home run by Scotty Roland in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Houston trying to break that tie. Ooh. 2 on and 2 out. It didn't miss by much, but home plate umpire Jim Reynolds says ball 1.
That looked like a good pitch right there.
On the ground, Francisco plants, throws, and the tag by Votto.
Nice play by Votto right there. Got up the line, got the tag on Lee.
All right, so the Astros strand 2. Bruce Renteria Francisco coming up. 888-513-381-REDS or go to Reds.com. All right, here we go. Fernando Abad on the mound, bottom of the 8th inning, 2-2 game. Big ship put on defensively for Jay Bruce.
He's due. Be a nice time right here. Get his first one of the year.
I'm glad you said that ahead of time this time. Swinging a foul ball back.
You got this, Tommy. Jump out there and get it.
A lot of people wish I would. Some days my wife included. 1-1 to Bruce. And a fastball from Abad. They have Jeff Fulcino getting loose in the bullpen. This figures to be the only batter that Abad would face in this inning. All the right-handers coming up next. And the 2-1 is a strike on the outside corner. Good fastball. The Reds do not have a single left-handed batter on their bench. Juan Francisco got the start today, and generally he's the only guy that hits from the left side. Popped up, playable. 1 out. Now let's see if Brad Mills is indeed going to make that change. I mean, it's Abad. You can see how he has stuff where he can get right-handed hitters out. Looks like he's going to stay with him.
Well, with Francisco on deck, you know, he's just going to try and get Renteria, knowing that Francisco's coming up and he's going to have that same lefty-on-lefty matchup.
Renteria, a 3-hit day. An RBI double to straightaway center field in the 2nd inning. Infield hits in the 4th and again in the 6th. Good eye on a breaking ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Those are good numbers. Real good numbers.
Doesn't matter for Abad, lefties and righties.
We brought up earlier, he is the only left-hander they have in the bullpen. The Reds, of course, are beginning this year with 3 left-handers in their bullpen. Matt Maloney, Bill Bray, and Aroldis Chapman. Renteria has never been what you would call a slugger in his career, but he certainly has the power. He proved that during the World Series last year, hitting a pair of home runs. And he'll be looking for something to drive here on a 3-1 count. That's a good pitcher's pitch.
Yeah, that pitch starts away the whole time and then rides back over the plate. It's not a pitch as a hitter you feel like you can really pull the trigger on. 3-1.
Now the payoff to Renteria, and a breaking ball bounces up there for ball 4. So the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the 8th inning. He is at first base. The Reds don't have anybody else that would have any experience as far as playing third base. They've already used Roland as a pinch hitter. They've already used Miguel Cairo as a pinch hitter. So they're not going to pinch hit. I guess conceivably you could run Renteria over to third and Giannis in the game at short. But they're going to let Francisco bat against this left-hander. And Juan really not giving himself much of a chance in all 4 at-bats today. 3 of the 4 he swung at the first pitch. And the other time he struck out.
You know, and in 3 of those, the 3 pitches he swung at the first pitch too, they weren't strikes. And almost all the pitches he swung at were balls. So, you know, sometimes as a young kid, you're getting that start over there at third base, and you're just a little over anxious. I mean, you really, in that situation, you got to still get your pitch to hit, get the ball down, get it out over the plate. You don't want to, if you're going to swing at the first pitch, swing at it with a purpose.
That's 8 at bats so far this season for young Mr. Francisco, and he has seen a total of 18 pitches. And those 8 at bats, but you know, it's youth.
It's youth, yep. Can't teach experience.
Here's Ryan Hannigan. 0 for 2, was intentionally walked his first time up. You Well, here's a guy that certainly has learned quickly about giving you a quality at bat. I mean, you look at his minor league numbers, really not much to him. The first year he came up with the Reds a couple of years ago, did very little with runners on base anyway. And then last year, all of a sudden, changed some things in his batting stance and his approach, working with Brooke Jacoby, and became a very good, solid player. And what a start to this year, swinging the bat for Hannigan.
He's really turned himself into a nice hitter. And I think Matt Krause down there, the weight coach, has gotten him in the weight room too, and Hannigan's gotten stronger over the years. And now you see him driving the baseball and really hitting all fields. But you're right, Tommy, he's made himself a better hitter.
We're going to look at Matt.
There's Krause right there. He's great, man. Matty Krause does a great job working with those guys in the weight room before the games, after the games, getting pitchers ready, getting the hitters ready. He's one of those guys that kind of flies under the radar. You don't talk about the strength coach so much, but those guys are so important, especially Matt Krause at that club in Cincinnati, of getting those guys, ready to go in spring training and during the season.
Popped up. Second baseman downs, the call and the catch. So we go to the ninth inning, tied at 2. Light cold hard blast. Reds down a run. Scott Roland summoned as a pinch hitter with 1 out in the 7th inning. A home run to left off Brett Myers to tie this game at 2. And that's where we stand as Houston comes to bat here in the top of the 9th inning. 2 runs, 5 hits for Houston. 2 runs, 8 hits for Cincinnati.
Scotty's sitting there. That's always a good day when you come in, you get a pinch hit, you hit a home run. You don't get double switch for it, and you got the getaway day. You're just sitting on that one, the game-tying bomb. It's always a nice feeling.
Brett Wallace to lead things off here in the top of the 9th inning. Wallace, Johnson, and then the pitcher spot, Abad, due up against Nick Massett. Massett retired the first 2 batters in the 8th inning on strikes. Here's a bleeder down the left field line. Gomes coming hard, or rather Heisey, to hold Wallace to a leadoff single. Second hit allowed by Massett.
Massett buries this ball inside. Oh, this is a tough pitch to hit. Wallace just gets his hands inside it and shoots it to left field. And it's a nice piece of hitting right there. It doesn't look like it when you see it flare out there, but that ball's up and in at 95. For him to get his hands inside the ball and be able to keep that fair, it's a nice piece of hitting.
Massett ran into 2-out trouble after those strikeouts in the 8th. Allowed a hit and a walk, but retired Carlos Lee on a grounder to third. Here's Johnson. Johnson has hit the ball hard twice today. Lined out to right in the 2nd inning. Struck out swinging against Sam LeCure in the 4th. And then singled into left center field gap on that play made by Stubbs to hold him to a single rather than a double. 0-1. Off the end of the bat, fly ball into right center. Jay Bruce there, out number 1. Had a walk-up crowd of over 6,000 today. In other words, those who did not have tickets before the game started. And over 6,000 come walking up to the gate. Good crowd on a beautiful day.
Well, when you wake up this morning, you see what the weather was going to be like, and that's why you got so many walk-ups today. Really, really kick back, enjoy, Major League Baseball game with a great hometown club, and I'm enjoying it up here with you. We're outside, right? Kind of.
Well, we've had a very fun 3 days together, Sean Casey. There's a pop-up off the bat of pinch hitter Jason Michaels. Johnny Gomes is there for the 2nd out of the inning, and of course, you'll be back with us for 12 more games this year.
Yep, 12 more games. I come back to Cincy for 3 in June. And then in Pittsburgh for a few games in July and August, September. So,
and those ones, when you come back, you and I will be together once again. A couple of games against the Dodgers and 1 game against the Cubbies.
Yeah, that's going to be great. It's always fun when LA comes here, and Chicago does too. It's going to be interesting to see too with Chicago. When I was playing here, when we were struggling. A lot of Cubs fans here. It's going to be interesting to see. I bet you there's a lot more Reds fans here now than Cubs fans.
Well, that started to turn around. You know how it goes, Sean. When you start winning games, and it's been like that here up until last year. The Cubs had back-to-back divisional championships in 07 and 08. But starting in 09 and certainly last year, that wasn't quite as prevalent.
Yep. It's nice to see more Cincinnati fans. This is a baseball city. There's no doubt about it. It's nice to see the fans rallying around this team again.
Well, season ticket sales are up over 30% from a year ago. And way ahead already of last year's attendance, despite a couple of down nights on this homestand. Cooler weather a couple of nights ago. School's still going on and so forth. But a good crowd here today. And the Reds on their way to Arizona.
Yeah, I think ever since, when Bob Castellini really took over this team, they've reconnected with the fan base. They put a great quality team out there. They've got the pitching. They've gone out and paid some players to come in here. And they do a lot of things in the community. And I think they've really reconnected with the fans here in Cincinnati.
2-1 the count on Quintero. That's a go-ahead run at first base. And Massett bringing it at 95 miles per hour, and Quintero tardy on the pitch. They had over 4,700 walk up yesterday. So the last 2 days, well over 10,000 fans just walking up to the gate to get a ticket and come on in. Reds trying to lead this homestand a perfect 6-0. They have work to do. And that one is into right field, a base hit by Quintero. So rare for Massett to allow hits pretty much anytime he comes out of the bullpen. That's a 3rd hit against him since coming on in the 8th.
Slow-mo's nice. That's a tough pitch right there. Massett has that. That's down in the zone. Quintero's able to really just stay through that baseball, let it travel. That's a tough little curveball right there that Quintero's able to shoot to right field with a nice job of hitting.
So for a 2nd straight inning, Massett going to have to work out a 2-out trouble. He did so in the 8th inning with 2 on. Runners at first and second, 2 outs here in the 9th. And Matt Downs, who Massett faced just 1 inning ago, struck him out looking. Takes ball 1. strike. Well, you know about the outfield arms. Jay Bruce just about as good as it gets in the game in right field. Stubbs very strong, very accurate in center field. And Heisey very strong as well and very accurate in left. This is as good a threesome defensively in the outfield as any team in the game when they're in the game at the same time.
Not many balls dropping out there. You know, with Stubbs' range, can really cover the gaps. Then if you got Heisey and Bruce out there, they can really cover line to line. So it is impressive. Because Stubbs is so fast and covers so much, it allows those guys to really work those lines.
2-1 on Matt Downs. And it's into left field. And this will break the tie. A double by Downs. They're going to hold the runner at third base. So Downs delivers. It looked like a hanging breaking ball to give Houston the 3-2 lead.
It was the same pitch he got Downs on earlier. This one just hangs up there 80 miles an hour. Really doesn't get that same bite that he's been getting mostly. And Downs does a nice job of staying on it and hitting it down the left field line.
A huge base hit for Downs and a huge hit for the Astros, who are now 3 outs away from their first win of the year. And their closer, Brandon Lyon, cranks it up in the pen. And Massett still very much needs an out to keep it in a 1-run game. And he will get that out on the bouncer to Joey Votto. Downs a 2-out double. The Reds have Heisey, Stubbs, Phillips, and hopefully more coming up. Depot doing more on defense play of the game. We talked about Drew Stubbs and all that ground he covers. And that was that rocket into left center by Chris Johnson, and Stubbs able to get over, fire back to second, and hold him to a single. And of course, that double play, by keeping the runner at first, it set up the double play ball, and that's exactly what the Reds defense turned to end the 7th. Reds and the Marlins, April 29th through May the 1st, presented by McDonald's. And lots of tickets available Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. Friday nights are always fireworks nights. For 3-in-1 Reds, or you log on right now to Reds.com. All right, Heisey, Stubbs, Phillips coming up, and now on to pitch. His second save opportunity. He blew the other one on opening day for Brett Myers, is Brandon Lyon. In there, strike, borderline strike. Heisey thought that pitch was low. Lyon has been the closer a couple of places where he's been, including Arizona. And that's one of his MOs right there. Big overhand breaking ball. When he's throwing that thing for strikes, that's a good pitch.
That's the difference right there, though, between having that pitch called a ball, being 2-0, and being 1-1. He throws that pitch 1-1. 2-0, maybe he comes back with a heater right there to Heisey.
Breaking ball going away, 2-2. Lyon gave up the 4 singles and 3 runs against Philadelphia on opening day in the 9th inning. A lot of that for the Reds today. Right-handed hitters hitting the ball in the air to the right side. 1 out. Stubbs 0 for 4. Was fly to right, popped to second. Popped up to short right on a force out in the 5th inning and popped to right again. Reds down a run with 1 away here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Good breaking ball in there, a strike.
Fans got the rally caps on.
Tapper. There's going to be a tough play.
Could be trouble.
Boy, that's a nice play right there by the first baseman Wallace and the pitcher Lyon to get over there in a hurry.
Nice play by Wallace. Almost do or die right there. You don't see that too much with a first baseman that has to barehand the ball. But when you have a guy like Stubbs bearing down that line, watch Wallace gets a bare hand, knows he has a long hop. Lyons does a good job getting over to the first base right away. But Wallace does a nice flip right here, and they just get Drew Stubbs. That's a tough play. Nice play right there by Brett Wallace and Brandon Lyon.
All right, Reds down to their final out. Astros broke the tie with a 2-out double in the top of the 9th inning by Matt Downs. And now it's Lyon facing Brandon Phillips. Breaking ball away. Joey Votto next. Phillips trying to either tie this baby up or give Votto a chance to win it here in the bottom of the 9th. Astros have gotten outstanding relief pitching here today. Melanson an inning allowed a hit, no runs in a 3rd. Fernando Abad an inning in a 3rd, 1 hit, 1 walk, no runs.
Brett Myers really set the tone for this staff all day long with just what he was doing to these Reds hitters and how he was really really getting good movement late in the zone. Nobody was really on him all day long. And the bullpen's coming in and done a great job, too, just like right where Myers left off.
Boy, is that a nice curveball. Got a couple of different curveballs. We've seen that one a little flatter than the other big 12-6 you referred to.
Yep, yeah, he's got a couple of them, and he's got that good arm action on him, but he's got the 12-6. That one was more of like a slurve.
All right, 2-2 now to Brandon Phillips. 3-2.
Got Votto sitting over there on deck, just itching to get up there.
Crowd up on its feet, hoping Phillips can find a way to keep this 9th inning alive, which he does.
Great at bat right there by Brandon Phillips. Gets Lyons all the way to 3-2 and does what he's been doing these last few days, just hitting hard line drives right back up the middle. It's really great. Doesn't try to do too much. Gets a ball out over the plate. Doesn't try to pull it. Hits it right back to where it came from, right back up the middle. He's been doing that all year.
3 of the first 5 Reds wins this year have been come from behind wins. None more dramatic than opening day on the 4 runs scored, the game-ending home run by Ramon Hernandez. And here's a reigning MVP of the National League, Joey Votto. Came in hard in on him. Votto was popped to short, struck out swinging, struck out looking, then singled to right field his last at bat in the 7th.
One thing about Joey Votto you gotta love is he loves being in situations. He loves trying to be the guy that wins these games, that comes through in the 9th.
Off the body of Wallace. Did you see what Votto did right before that at bat to take away the breaking ball? He walked up in the batter's box.
I was just gonna say, did you see him stand up? I was like, what's he doing? Right before Lyons goes to throw it, he takes a step up in the box to take away that last cutter, that last, when he saw the first pitch. Watch here, he steps up in the box right here and takes away that last piece of break and just gets his hands inside the ball and hits a rocket. Listen, that's why making adjustments on the fly, that's why Joey Votto is so good.
You used to see guys do that all the time, make adjustments inside the batter's box. So infrequent anymore. All right, the tying run is at second. The winning run is at first, and guess who's coming up? We talked about the drama on opening day. With runners at first and second base and 2 outs in the 9th, Ramon Hernandez, a home run to right field to win the game against Milwaukee. Can he deliver the big hit again? Breaking ball in there, strike. It's 1-1 on Ramon Hernandez.
When you're up there 1-0 and you got first and second here in the situation, you're not looking for something for that breaking stuff. You're looking for something hard out over the plate. That's what Hernandez right there obviously was looking for.
Ramon Hernandez for the 1-1 count. Goes over it foul on another Brandon Line curveball. So Line ahead at 1-2. Hernandez started this homestand, started the season with a bang. Can he end this homestand with another one? Through the middle, and Sanchez the force play, and that's the game. So for the first time this year in the final game of this 6-game homestand, the Reds taste defeat in a 3-2 final, the first win of the year for the Houston Astros.
Well, they battled back, but turns out to be that bullpen was a little too tough, and Brett Myers was really the guy with the difference today. I mean, he really pitched a great game. Sam LeCure, matched him pitch for pitch, but Brett Myers really had some good stuff today and was able to get to the bullpen late, and they were able to finally get their first win of the year.
So Abad picks up the victory for Houston, and Lyon gets his first save of the year. The loss goes to Nick Massett, and the Reds now on their way after a 5-1 homestand. Their first road trip of the year begins tomorrow night in Arizona. 3-2 our final today.